Why, hello there. We're all gods now. Finally reached. Finally have a scene on a seat on the throne of the Maker. All five of us. Block 24. Let's go.
So everybody, make sure to change your race to God in your character sheet. That's going to do. Okay.
I'm just gonna write God Elf.
Well,
God
I
elf.
put it. Social class is God of, and then race is God. So that's how I ordered it.
Just wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Damn.
I like the unique way that we all got the final bosses. Like, for example,
Mhm.
Pasha talked out her boss and then just
Yeah.
goodbye, just drowning. And then, Tyrion just did sneak, stab. Great.
Mhm.
Rousseau did insane amounts of damage.
Yes, that was
Unreal.
so awesome.
And Daretham made a hole the size of an egg and
Right.
just
Yep.
And Daretham just had a lot of moments to shine, like his moments with Saris, and I thought was really cool. And just he definitely had a lot of the spotlight today, which is exactly what I was trying to do for this session, was to give a little bit more Daretham spotlight. So
It definitely felt less like I was a side character, more like I was a main character, which is nice. So yeah, and then Leon had a triple fireballs, man. That was.
Yep.
I will not forget the blood slave. No, you got blood slave.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
just
that like
luck,
was
just
Tyrion's
by
arc.
pure-
It's a
Yeah.
whole like he's been so shit in willpower, and he did it with a crit, and then
Yes.
becomes God of
If
Freedom.
you're ever going to perfectly embody him growing as a character.
There we
Yes,
go.
That was
That
so
moment.
good.
Like,
Such a good moment.
Take away the moment in the question. That's the moment.
Yeah.
Just and just made so sense with him becoming God. But yeah, that was
Yeah,
amazing.
I love that. That was amazing.
Everyone's fights were actually pretty good. Then overall, that was a interesting tough challenge.
I felt your dice today were definitely like in there
Their
for the
favorite.
story. They were in it for
Uh-huh.
the story. They were
Yeah.
the dice were like, this would be great story wise. Triple sixes again.
Except me when
You
it's
gotta-
like you get extra like 3d6 ones. Okay.
That was so bad. I was like, okay, here's a bunch of ones. How you like it, Tommy? You like your
I
ones?
can't
You like
control
your
that,
ones? Here's your
unfortunately.
ones.
Yeah, that is
No,
beyond my
it's
control.
what happens.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
I liked how the NPCs popped in like in
Yeah.
different waves of the fight.
Yeah, that felt really good. And I love Pasha. That was so awesome. The Doctor Strange talking down
Playing
the
games.
boss, and that was so awesome.
It was
I
so
was-
good.
I was hoping I could make her so confused that she'd just leave the fight and I could just be like, I'll run this way, goodbye. But she wouldn't, so she had to drown.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just unfortunate.
Hey,
If she had left, she'd still be alive.
Hey, you confused her still.
Yeah, you still did. You still
The shuffling
did.
madman. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
I did like how different each of the encounters in the Fade just before you got to the city, like with D'Artagnan and Tyrion's mom and all that. I purposely tried to make them all different so that they weren't all just the stereotypical we are here to give you moral support and we love you blah 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 blah, because with Russo I figured this was going to be a little bit less, this will be a bit more antagonistic, and I was ready for that. And for my goal for Sam was like I need to try to get him into Abomination Zone if I can, and just rip him out, which is why I saved him for last, because I purposely was like, yeah, your parents are awful, and they just right now see you as a replacement for the real child. But it didn't work. It's okay. It's okay that it didn't work.
You came close. Like, you got one roll out of me, but, you could have gotten more.
Yeah.
Oh, so on this note, what was everyone's favorite Fade pre-battle moment?
Yes, I agree. Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, we discussed this a little bit, but I really liked Russo's F you, Mom,
Yes.
because, she sort of deserves that.
She deserved it.
Yeah.
She did.
Yeah, to be honest, I feel like the most interesting thing with Russo is that like everything around him was kind of just been dirt, and the only reason it got better was he made the conscious choice to get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think is also symbolic.
And I was gonna say that fits too, because like everyone else has pretty much been like a quitter, just like awful about it. Even Daz Trul really didn't like argue much in favor of the scaled ones, because he didn't really argue Russo on the whole. Like, yeah, your real dad kind of just gave up on you too with suicide.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's made himself better, and I was gonna say I think that's also symbolic of him taking the throne at the end, like deciding to take the throne at the end. But that's just my interpretation of it.
And then my final note was I wanted to play that as like in IRL, if you have an abusive parent or parent you don't have like a great relationship with, it's not ever like one way or the other. So I was trying to play Russo like falling in on both sides and not knowing what to do before he was finally like, no, I still care for you, but go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really love that. I'll just double on that. Rousseau was my favorite period moment. Just loved that shit so much, Tommy.
Yeah. I'll be honest, Dartham was my favorite simply because I felt like that was the perfect symbology of like past and new Dartham like melding together.
Yeah, it's why I wanted his when he became a god, his appearance to stay like his default appearance to be his mixed. Because I don't see Dartham going back to being an elf, but he's not a darkspawn fully, but he's a god of disease. So I kept that mixed form that he got when he got the ring.
So, question for Dom: had Dartham not had the whole revelation thing, and like the party didn't really like work through his problems, would he have stayed looking like a darkspawn when he became a god?
I don't think he would become a god. If he had first off, he would have requested to take the soul amulet, so he would die if anyone else happened to. So that's the first thing. Second thing is he definitely would not have like taken the initiative to go. He would have like intercepted himself in one of the other fights and allowed you to go off and get the throne. And I think he wouldn't have had any of his much of his like dispel magic spirit stuff. He would have been more like entropy taint magic based. So at the end of the day, I think he would have actually became normal. He would have gone back to being normal and would have just gone back to, assuming he didn't have the cure or anything. He probably would have gone back to Fortuna and just offered himself up for whatever they desired of him.
I'm gonna be honest. I can't pick a favorite moment because I felt everyone's was good. I can't really decide on a one specific moment. I liked, I definitely liked Russo's moment with his mother, with saying if you just because that was cool. I like Leon and his parents just being douches, and he was like, "No, you're all bad." Darrington
And
with
Rosie just being like, "No, fuck you, you're the bad guys."
Darrington's a symbolization of him, and like now here he is, new one, and Pasha's discovery, like, oh, here's my here's my dad, I guess. Thanks for the info, and learning the truth. I really liked everyone's. I can't pinpoint one, so I can't really say this was good. I think everyone was good.
Personally, I think my favorite moment was when Leon's parents were like, "Hello there," and Leon was like, "Mom, Dad," and they were like, "You're not our kid. This is our kid." And like little baby Leon is just that initial feeling of like, "Oh, betrayal."
Yeah.
Oh, these hoes. What are they?
Question for Hark: like, say Leon's parents didn't get murdered by Sir Garrison and everyone else in the intro part of the campaign, and they were still like alive, would they have still acted like that towards Leon, at least like somewhat, or is that a thing that would only happen after death?
That's a good question. I'm not sure off the top of my head. I'm not sure. That scene would have definitely played out if Leon did not do what he did last session, which was face his other self, I guess, because the baby Leon turned into a demon, and essentially your Leon was able to help him come out of that demon state. So yeah, I think that scene would have been completely different if Leon was
didn't do
not,
it, yeah.
because they probably would have. I think his parents instead would have been more antagonistic, because they would have been like, "Look what you did to our son," blah 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 blah, and all he wanted was to take his body back, and you refused and you denied him, and now he's so angry and upset. So they would have been a lot more accusatory of him if he had not
Okay.
done what he did last session.
So
Yeah, no,
theory was demon baby Leon being in Leon the only reason he could actually do blood magic?
Ooh. That's a good
I
question.
don't believe that's the only reason.
Well, was that like a big factor of why he was capable of doing blood magic so easily?
I don't believe so, because I think that it's less about the soul and more about the body, because it's the bloodline. His Leon, the body's bloodline is a bloodline of blood mages, and so that's a lot of blood. And so,
Could have
so
helped.
yeah, it just so happened that a different soul was inhabiting that body with that bloodline.
Could have helped though, still, but like it
Could have helped, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what were we gonna say, Sam?
Oh well, if the parents were a lot more antagonistic, that would probably be a lot easier of a chance to become an abomination, because Leon still holds the idea of, but you're my parents. But after they were so cold, it's like, well, I guess you're not my parents anymore. Yeah.
Also, can I just say, next session, I would love to see a reuniting of God Leon and Sir Garrison in the Golden City.
Oh,
We can
my
do that if you'd
good
like.
Lord.
Yeah, I was thinking about that too.
I'm just
I
gonna
was-
put it on the table.
Like
I wanna see it.
I was thinking Amarin and like Tyrion.
Yeah, we could get a.
I have an
Amarin?
idea. I want to do it with my dad, actually, with Tyrion and his senior.
I considered like before reaching the Black Sea, I considered throwing Amarin at Tyrion and throwing
Instead of mother.
instead of your mother, and throwing Sir Garrison at Leon. But you've had plenty of Amarin interactions, and you've never had a mother interaction. I kind of want to bring your mother in.
Yeah,
and then
definitely. And I felt it was cool. It was interesting.
And then Hark had to be kind of cruddy to both me and Sam, so probably made him feel better.
I mean, to a certain degree, Tyrion's mother was a big, it was a part of his life, not a big part of his life, but still a decent part. She taught him how to be a healer and a doctor. Without her, he would have been like just some rogue who just murders people on site. But not really, but still.
in their bathtubs.
Yeah, it's not this. Yeah, in their bathtubs. It's not like a big moment, but still a moment. I felt like Tyrion is confronting his mother after all the things he did, and still she's accepting. Is like, and I will, yeah. So yeah.
I was just gonna say I'm getting domain regret already.
Domain regret? Why?
Domain regret. I'm happy with managers and lovers, but then afterwards I was like, I should have put God of extinct animals, because she hangs out with Vala.
You can do that. You can do that too. You don't have to. I said it's not in stone until next session.
Yeah.
Can I be honest? The mains I've also. I don't think Tyrion will actually I'm on the fence if Tyrion will actually go to trial or not now, because he's got freedom now. So
It's up to you.
Would it be? I thought it would make sense. He gives freedom to others, maybe, but that's
But he stays locked up.
I mean, it would be, like Dom said, it would be massive symbology if a god themselves descends down to face the
pretty
system.
much. Yeah. For these, and maybe he'll be thrown in prison. Who knows?
Or
Who
hell,
knows
like
how long.
having the god of freedom be judged by the god of law. Like
Ooh.
Ooh, that'd be interesting. Mhm.
that could be a cool thing.
You know how gods provide influence over their domains? What about domains providing influence over the gods themselves? So since Tyrion is now the god of freedom, his domain could just hold him back from wanting to get trialed because of the chance of not.
That's a good point too.
Yeah.
Wouldn't that take time to happen, like a couple eternities or whatever?
Probably, yeah.
Oh yeah, you're probably right. Yeah.
Also, I will say I just now thought maybe instead of redemption, Daretham could do forgiveness as his second thing. But I think considering empathy and redemption is already there, that's kind of part of it. And Daretham the Redeemed seems like a better name. So I think it makes sense to keep that, because forgiveness is a part of empathy and redemption. So Also, I will say that I didn't think of it until like that moment when I messaged to Pasha what I could do, but I was like, wait, I'm the god of empathy. There's a war going on. Me as Dominic has wanted to do this shit for a while, so I'm gonna do it here.
I
So
was so
yeah,
concerned.
I don't mean
I just-
to double back, but bringing Corin into the Fade was completely worth it just for that one scene with him and Lyra.
yes,
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
that was fantastic.
Good
Another
choice.
reason I loved Rousseau's scene.
I actually did not see that coming. I did not anticipate that Rousseau was going to ask Corin to the Fade, so that was really neat. Really neat. And speaking of Corin, I kind of also liked the short conversation that he had with Rousseau concerning Balin and how Rousseau raised Balin. Like, despite the friction between those two brothers, I thought it was really cool that he at least acknowledged the kid and, you know, Rousseau being a dad to him.
Oh, so we already kind of talked about it a little. Do we want to go into like why each of our characters chose godhood?
Do we want to talk about the final battle at all? Like some moments out of that?
Yeah, that's true.
Sure. Let's start with that.
Maybe we do that and then godhood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I find it funny that Tyrion gets dropped into the scene where he doesn't have to be involved in like a full fight and he can just use his tactics and
Yeah.
sneakily go around and sharpshooter like while
Yeah.
still hiding. That was, and just me like I put on like a jacket with just also read that
That's awesome.
vestment because that's the vestment of heart. Even though I didn't use it much, it was still like, you know, just him like, I'm going in shadows and, you know, shooting off the delirium, which was controlling the Darkspawn. Even though Darkspawn didn't get a lot
Yeah.
of chance because of the stuns, unfortunate for bastards. And I want to do something. And the whole reason I did that whole teleport thing was just for coolness points, because I was like, I love to continue shooting because it does more damage, but I just want to like slash this guy in the face and just, you know, go front. So why not? Let's go mono di mono. Here I am.
Dylan from Mass Effect Season 1 helped me a lot with the final battle mechanics, because I normally use Dylan as my rubber ducky when I'm trying to figure out these kind of things. And so between the two of us, we were trying to come up with ways that would let each character shine. And so we specifically were like, well, Tyrion's the rogue, so let's give him an opportunity to just stealth his way around here. And he's got a sniper rifle. I really want him to use a sniper rifle in some way in the final battle.
I did.
And then same thing with Daretham. I was trying to find ways that his handkerchief could finally have a moment to shine, and I'm super happy that it did.
It did, yeah.
And then with Pasha, like, I had a feeling that Pasha wasn't going to completely just all-out attack without trying to do some sort of talking. So my prediction was right, and I was glad you were attempting to go the talking route. Rousseau was kind of obvious. Like, I knew Rousseau was going to do massive damage, and if I put him with any of the other Magistus of Ariel, he would have just
Pwned him.
destroyed them, and it would have been not interesting at all. Totally not interesting.
Plus,
so
hammer v hammer.
Hammer versus hammer. It made a lot of
Forge
sense.
of Fire against
I will say if it was anyone else other than the Forge Right, I would have done like some other method right before attacking. It just like I knew I had the Forge Right and he's not gonna talk.
Right. And then Leon, I figured Leon's a smart guy, so I figured he probably would come up with something to deal with mirrored images, and he did. So
a whole bunch of fire.
Yeah,
It's a lot of fire.
I think we got right with the predicted ones, like, because I think we predicted who we want to fight against.
Yeah.
Or we,
I
Yeah.
mean, our predictions have been pretty
Yeah.
decent. I mean, you called the final choice at the end, Skull, like about 7 sessions before it happened.
the two
The becoming gods.
Yeah, I did.
this was the end of a trilogy, and one of the things about Dragon Age is nothing ever stays fixed. There's always something terrible happening, and so like, well, maybe if I make you guys gods, maybe you can actually fix a lot of things and make things a lot better. And I figured,
Or cause more problems.
or cause more problems.
We have a god of blood with us. Like,
That's true.
I mean,
What have we done?
now here's the thing: we, the gods, may not do stuff. Our worshippers, though.
True. That's true.
Like, to a certain degree, like, I think Dragon Age is always going to go in the perpetual cycle
Yeah.
where there's always going to be problems, and that's how it is. It's dark
Yeah,
fantasy.
that's
It's
how
not
it is.
really
Yeah.
epic or normal fantasy where it's going to survive. It's always.
I
gonna have
feel
fun.
like bare minimum you could have like an age of like semi peace, at least in
Right.
Dragon Age.
Oh yeah,
This is
no,
the peaceful age.
there is. I mean, there are times of peaceful age. This is the game.
Yeah, because is the next age going to be called the Ascended Age, considering that us five
that would be
ascended?
interesting. The
That's a good
Ascended
point.
We'll have to wait
Age. That
50
would be
years.
really interesting.
Well, we have to wait 50 years for that, but yeah.
Well,
pretty
yeah, I'm saying like the next age is based off of major events that happened in the last one.
The last day one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah.
it makes
Yeah.
sense. Like
That'd be Ascended
makes
Age.
sense.
Would be great.
the age of Ascension.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So yeah, I had no problem
Well,
giving
actually,
you guys
I
Godhood.
would argue it'd be more the Age of Legends because we had Heroes of Ferelden, Pentavere Guardians, and Ascension all in one. So
True.
Age of Legends seems more appropriate because it wasn't just
That'd be
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, also Ascension works for all those groups because they all ascended to some
Fair,
form
fair.
way. Like they became Heroes of Ferelden in season 1. Season 2, they became the Pentavere Guardians from they were. And then
I would argue Legends though because Ascension is associated with us,
Yes,
and
yeah,
I would feel like it's
that's
just talking about us.
Legend.
So
yeah.
Legends is like
Yeah,
all
Or the-
different.
I like
yeah.
that a lot.
Legends is
Or the
Well,
Age
maybe when the other old gods pass away because we don't know how they work. Maybe previous cast members can also get godhood through the chat.
True.
Watch
then
the
we have-
Archon be the next god. Like we're just
we
gonna be
have
like, oh
14
fuck
gods.
this shit.
So we have 14 gods.
Anything
Uh,
else?
Why our characters chose to be gods.
Okay.
Why?
Why?
I can go first. Daretham feels like he can do a lot of good. He can do more good doing this than otherwise. I mean, he already used and he specifically thought I'm not going to be like a god of warfare or shit. I'm not going to try to fight my way to fix things. I'm going to try to talk and heal my way to fix things. So all of his stuff is about second chances and empathy and healing and such. So, and I knew he was going to try to do, and I was like, okay, so he's a full god, but he can't do everything. So I was like, okay, he can't stop the war, but he can show everyone exactly what's going on in your heads, which is you did there. And then with the cure, I was like, he's not going to be able to cure the Darkspawn, but there already is a cure, and it's a prototype. So I'm just going to make that a full cure, and then Andrea can disperse that.
Yep.
And that way we still have a bunch of years of rounding up Darkspawn, healing them, etc. So it's still a challenge, but I made it. I started it. So
Yeah.
All in all, it was just a case of and honestly, I will say that dream was the deciding factor. That dream in session 22, I think.
21.
I think it was 22 because 21 was just premiered. So the dream in 22 was the final thing that made me go, yeah, Daretham would do.
Yeah. And when they start administering the cure, they'll take the first dose, and then 3 weeks later they have to take the second dose, and it'll be fine. So anyway, go ahead.
So I was on the fence because I really didn't know if I wanted to go demigod or god. I was on the fence mainly because Tyrion. I saw him as the kind of guy where he doesn't like too much power. The more power he has, he doesn't reliably see himself to be useful with it. That's what he thought, and so that's why I thought he was good give demigod, and he wouldn't be super powerful, but he at least could do some good to a certain degree. But then eventually it sort of came to the point, well, Tyrion as a person, his goals have been always to try to help people. That's what he's been. That's always that's why he became a doctor. That's why he partially sort of ran and went to the Androfells. That's why he to a certain degree joined the group, was because he could do some help. So he said, well, demigod can do some help, but a god does more. And god is pretty much the equivalent of where you could be the selfless god. So that's why I eventually said, let's go godhood. And it became the god of perseverance, freedom, and healers, all in some ways can help people.
I love it.
I like also that he's not the god of healing, he's the god of the people who heal, not healing itself.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, not
I
healing,
like-
it's
yeah.
healers. It's the people who heal. Yeah.
I like that a lot. This feels balanced.
And you know what? Healers is not licensed doctors, so it still counts as
That's
unlicensed
true.
doctors.
It should be
Healers.
unlicensed
Why do you
healers.
think I call
That's
us
true.
healers? I did think of going doctors, but I was like, nah. Even the mages get the preference.
Yeah,
Healers.
I like it.
Everyone.
Healers. I love it.
You see,
Yes.
if you're unlicensed, you get an additional +2.
Yeah.
Even that works for even like therapists. So like
And
even
also, like-
Livia might be worshiping you.
And also, like, healing would make sense for Tyrion, because, like, from overall the campaign, he's done some healing, but, like, not a lot, honestly. He's done more damage, I think, than healing.
Yeah.
He has healed, but I think healers, for the people who do
Healers.
the work,
I agree.
it fits better. But, yeah, that's...
I also I would just say a real quick thing. I loved that the spell that Dartham like finally used was not taint magic, wasn't entropy, wasn't any other. It was a spirit magic dispel. Like that was the thing that made him, and it was eventually spirit because he doesn't have a +3 focus to entropy. Because it's like at this point, entropy is useful, but it's not what he's going for. He's going for the taint magic and for the spirit, which is still really awesome. That I was like. I considered doing like an anti-magic burst or something, but that would get rid of my own stuff. So I was like, nah, I would target Dispel. So, yeah.
Asha became a god because she has a plan, and she is following
Awesome.
that plan. And there we go. That's all you know.
All
That's
right.
all you get.
If that plan involves ascending the Cune, I will stop it.
Asha's following the path. That's what she's going to keep saying. She's following the path.
Okay. So
Wait. Sorry. Quick interruption. Leon's the god of secrets. Does he know Pasha's plan because it's a secret?
Oh, huh.
I
Or
would
does
like
it not
to
work on other gods?
I would probably say would not work on other gods.
Okay.
So if Pasha doesn't want her secrets revealed to Leon,
So
he doesn't
maybe
have to reveal
Leon,
them.
like, whenever another god, he knows when they're keeping a secret or when they're lying about something or being hidden, but he doesn't know what it is. Maybe. I don't know. Something.
I'll leave that up to Callista.
Anyway,
Anyway, sorry.
So for Leon, I think it was the logical conclusion because he wants to be better than what Athumiel did originally. He wants, the second chance, and also, the only way to really get away from Cedric is to become a god. But even then, you never know. So I think logically it would make more sense to ascend to godhood than to spend the rest of his days evading the White Spire or like having a conversation with because his wife owns all the crows, so it's not like he can really hide. But now Leon flipped the script because now he knows the secrets, so the crows, you better watch out.
So in many ways, the crows are now praying to him.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
Hell, Andrea's
Who's the
praying to
Spy
him now.
Master now, Andrea.
Yeah.
When you show up in Endgame, we're gonna have 40 spies surrounding you like you did to us.
And we're gonna use the spies you thought were surrounding us. They were actually in our pay. Yeah.
Does that mean Leon is sort of like the god of mustaches too?
Oh, just
Yeah.
mustaches.
Mustaches.
That's like a subdomain, like a
Subdomain of
I
mustaches.
mustache.
Spy mustache.
Spy mustache. So like blood because
anyway.
blood magic research because he's been working on that thesis this whole time. So, just never got finished. And then because I wanted to do something with nature, but it didn't quite fit in. And nature's pretty powerful on itself, so it'd have to be like
Yeah.
chlorophyll or this specific type of plant. So just research.
It makes sense because like it was not necessarily the plants, it was figuring out how they work, which was his thing. So research makes sense.
And then secrets because he kept too many gosh darn secrets, and they just kept biting him.
And Tommy, like, I guess all of us are curious just because last time we spoke with you, it sounded like you were leaning more towards just being immortal.
Yeah,
So-
pretty much how I saw it was that Russo was very reluctant to like stand above others. Was how I was always wanting to play that. Like he wanted to advance himself, but he always wanted to be grounded in something that he worked for, not just be infinitely better than everything. Ultimately, what I feel like made him decide godhood is, as much as he loves the rest of the party, he doesn't like trust them all to be like gods indefinitely with like infinite power.
Yeah.
But on top of that too, the chat with Violetta was the one where it really made me feel Russo as a character would be 50-50. because Violet is like the only one that really Russo opens up fully to because they have that relationship.
And during that conversation, I didn't want to be wishy-washy. I didn't want to. I'm sorry, Dominic. I didn't want to pull a Dareth. I'm like, well, you could pick this one.
You could do
this
like
one,
this or this, so I'm really not like
doesn't
saying
really
much
matter.
of anything
So
that could convince you.
She definitely was hinting that she had a bias. She had a preference of where she thinks you should go, and she was leaning towards that direction. But ultimately, she said, you can do whatever you want. But I do have a preference, is what she said, or a bias. So
Yeah.
hopefully that helped.
So that let me narrow it down to demigod or full godhood, and one was full godhood, two was I was gonna walk out the palace.
Yeah. Sweet. So I was gonna also say that for the purposes mostly of I mean, you could by next session if you want, but really I think this might be more for the purposes of the crossover is you are free to design the Golden City however you see fit. Like if you want to decide what the city looks like, where the different locations are, you can have a bathhouse, you could have a dance hall, theater, like literally whatever you want to put in the city. It's your Golden City, and you can make the palace look like whatever you want. This is Pasha's room, this is Darethum's room, like whatever. It's up to you how you want to design that. So if you feel like that would be fun for a future, that'd be great.
Russo gets to design the courtroom.
You have a courtroom. There you go. Bowling alley in the basement, pool on the roof. You know.
Ironically,
Also, go ahead.
Ironically, I feel like Russo would design the least of the Golden City because he really doesn't even want to be there. I feel like he'd be doing the most to like diminish his following among mortals and everything else, being like, "Yeah, don't like pray to me. I'm down here like 80% of the time."
Sure.
I'm the god of law. Pray to the law, not me, all right?
He is the god of the people. He walks amongst
I
them.
exist so like the other four just don't like start destroying everything. I'm the tiebreaker whenever they have to do stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
That's true. The tiebreaker.
He's the reluctant dad god. You know, he's like, oh, don't put that in your mouth. What? Why are you doing that? That's
Don't make me come up there. I will come up there. Make me.
Don't make me turn Thetis around.
Yeah.
Turn Thetis around. I also thought it was a very cool little twist when the Mr. Bun stuff. Was
Yes!
We better get a Pyrus Mr. Bun wedding next.
have to see
I
it.
want that so badly.
Well, Pyrus is about to be destroyed by the Templars, so
Or
I don't know.
He's the god of secrets. He can figure something out.
That's true. Technically, Pyrus is in your physical possession right now, Leon. So
Well, I mean,
We'll
technically
probably-
he's in Mr. Bun's position. But I'm
that's
like-
true. Hey, that's true.
we'll probably have to have a conversation with Russo about that next
Next
session.
session, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Next session, we'll see.
I feel like Russo and Violet are gonna have to argue about where the wedding is gonna be because, like, man, the Golden City is like such a great place, but like no
Yeah.
one can come here.
No, I said you can. No, I said you can invite
Yeah.
anyone there. You can
Oh, we
bring
can?
whoever you want. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, you can
You,
invite
you can
anyone
bring.
you want.
You can bring whoever you want in the Golden City, and like, I mean, if they trash it, that's on you. If they trash the place,
Oh,
I
we
guess you
rebuild
could just snap your fingers and clean it
Yeah.
again.
It'll be like you know, just calling upon like the ghost servants, those who are willing to serve and just
Yeah.
plays up.
Why do I feel like? Why do I feel like at the wing of the palace, that's gonna be like the bachelorette wing? And Pasha's just gonna bring a bunch of mortals over and just matchmake.
God of
Hey,
lovers.
this is what God of
God
lovers.
lovers.
This is what I do. You know, this is what I do. Monday through Thursday. This is what I'm doing.
No, it's that Pasha's face appears in bushes and it's like, hey, date the baker. What? Don't date the baker. And then she goes, okay.
Only if my only request then is when the crossover happens and the PCs come, I seriously want you to be like, hey, date the goth chick or whatever. Date like whatever the PCs. Date the goth chick. Date the...
Well, what we have to do is we have to make sure that if Callista can't watch it, one of us has to watch every session of Athenaeum, and we have to detail the ships so we can make sure that Pasha knows exactly what the ships are going on, so she knows.
Tyrion's gonna hold lectures in this place to teach people how to be a healer.
We asked Canna to show up to give out diagrams.
Anyway,
And of course, I mean, now that Tyrion's a god, I mean, and he's the god of healers, Tumble has needed a lot of healing, and I'm sure that he can ensure that, you know, there's gonna be a lot of stress, so Tyrion has to be healed of that stress.
Or if you get with Nathan, Maximilian can only stop you so much now.
That's a good point. Like, he's a king, but you a god.
Oh, wherever Tyrion goes, there's just a mysterious bush with Pasha's face. Tyrion, no, wait!
Pasha, let me be. I have important people to look over for. Just go back in your bush and find some other lovers.
This is no, Tyrion. This is your sentence. Instead of being put into jail,
Yes!
you are hereby sentenced to having Pasha constantly trying to pair you with Nathan and
Or
Tumble.
Or
That
both
is your
at
punishment.
the same time.
That is
Or,
your
or
sentence.
literally anyone else.
Unfortunately, Tyrion is the free. He decides what he's going to do.
So what
Yes,
happens is,
Pasha's
like,
free to nag you.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
free to nag you,
Yeah.
yes.
So like
Okay.
every knife Tyrion throws, whenever the pommel goes, it's just Pasha going, Jay Tumble! Jay Tumble! Jay Tumble!
Wow. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I just love the idea of that. Everyone else has like these super detailed, like godly, like majestic powers, and then Pasha is just her face is photoshopped on the bushes, just really, really badly.
Yep. Pasha is too busy dealing with all of the Karen issues because she's the god of managers. So all of her other powers have suitably shitty. So it's like crappy Photoshop, but for all of the manager problems, she's in like high definition. She's like,
Mhm.
There we
okay,
go.
let me figure this out. Don't worry. Do you want a free dessert?
You have to bring
Yeah.
bush to do
Right.
the whole bush job.
Yeah. I was gonna say even in your power is actually pretty decent because Cedric's technically a manager, Andrea's technically a manager, like all of the anyone who's of leadership is technically a manager. So just
Maximilian's technically a manager.
Maximilian's technically a manager.
Oh my god! Maximilian, praise to you!
Oh my gosh.
At last, judgment shall be rendered upon the judger.
My goodness.
All right.
Anything else?
Oh, I have a question. So
Yes.
obviously I did not stop, but I helped stall at the least the Kunari Thetis War. I assume we're going to deal with
Yeah.
more of that next session. But did you expect me to? Did you expect me to do something like that in
Nope.
this session? No. Yeah.
Not at all. Nope. And I love it though. I love it.
Yeah. I was just like, oh, also I'm going to bump up my perception a bunch because if I'm God of Empathy, I need that higher.
Sure.
Yeah, considering we get another 10 levels.
Right.
Yeah.
So we can figure out. We will have to homebrew what level 30 means, and I'm assuming we can look at like the trend of the previous 20 levels and come up with something.
I mean, it could go the route where we'll see. I guess we don't have to talk it here.
Yeah, we can do that off camera.
Yeah.
But in terms of the next session, yeah. So I guess for the next session, because it's supposed to be the epilogue that you can role play through.
And then we'll have the real epilogue, like
then
full
have the real
epilogue
epilogue.
slides. Yeah.
Yeah, you're welcome to converse with each other. You're welcome to keep certain things a secret. So if you would like to inform me of what scenes you want to do, you're welcome to inform me. If you want to keep me in the dark and surprise me, that's fine. But certain scenes might be helpful to at least clue me in, just so I can prepare for it.
I
I'm
can
assuming-
quickly say for me, I'd probably go to Fortuna or just like talk with the Black King,
Okay.
Razakale, Balm, and just like let him know, hey, so that's a full cure. Probably talk to Andrea too,
Sure.
and say, hey, that's a full cure, and like start getting plans set up for, and like let the Grey Wardens know too, like, hey guys, cure for the blight. You
Would it Would it be helpful or distracting? It's up to you. Would it be helpful or distracting for me to invite the Guardians at the next session?
I'm
I'd
all
be
the Guardians?
fine with it.
No, I'm fine.
yeah, I'd be fine with
fine
like
with it?
inviting Logan and David too, if they're up for it.
If you're fine with it, sure.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
Totally.
okay with that.
because they need to, because they have to essentially be the world satyrs, because they're the people who are the priest giving. They need to, like,
If
they
that
need their
is-
opinion.
If that is the case, like if everybody is able to tell me what scenes they're planning to do that involves the other characters, I can at least give them an idea of when they would, because I don't want to necessarily hold them for the whole session.
Yeah,
They don't
yeah.
have to be there the whole session.
Yeah.
So
I would talk with Kimberly, obviously, for Andrea Cure stuff.
Okay.
And then I guess Mecha Black King, but I mean that's pretty
I
self-explanatory.
definitely want to talk to Cedric for Pyrus.
okay.
And then
I'm
probably
can do that.
Yeah.
I need to chat with Leon. Like, look, Leon, Pyrus has to go.
And honestly, if this is something, even if they can't show up, we can also, you guys could also record. If you don't need me, you can
Yeah.
just
Oh, yeah.
roleplay without me.
Yeah.
That's true.
And just record that.
Yeah.
So that's also another option. Okay. So yeah, let me know if ahead of time if there's anything that involves that.
All right.
Also, I actually think I would want to talk to David, talk to Maximilian, because Darkspawn and God of Disease and also God of Empathy. So like I think because Maximilian was probably one of the people, unless he wasn't there. I don't know if he was there, but if he was there, then he'd be one of the people who was like, I suddenly feel empathy for all these people. What the fuck? So like I'd want to go back and tell everyone there, like, hey, that was me. I didn't like control
Fair
your
enough.
decisions. I just made you feel shit. Also, to the Thetis leaders, Darkspawn here, they're helping you. There's also a cure. I made that. So yeah, Light's gonna be fine in like a few centuries, but don't kill them. So I'd probably talk with like David and Andrea. I think that's it.
I'm assuming that Pasha is planning on doing something with the Canary conflict. I'm assuming.
I have one scene that I'm just like, if this doesn't happen, I will cry.
Okay.
I just
Okay.
have the one scene, just the one. She wants to go and have a little chat with Azra. That's all she wants
Yeah.
to do. That's
Well,
just what she's doing.
I was gonna say, had you decided to either all or half of you or part of you go to the Canary conflict, I was planning on introducing Asra and Salit actually
I
into
knew it.
that. However, that does not mean that you will not see those two characters in the next session. You could probably still see those two characters in the next session.
Yeah.
So
All right.
All right, so Andrea and Maximilian for me, Azra for Pasha. Anyone else?
Cedric
I
for
have
me
like
for
a
Pyrus.
list of 3. I'll get it after this.
sure.
And then Cedric and Pyrus, you said, right, Skull?
Yep, because Pyrus has to go.
Yeah. This is meant to be collaborative, so if you wish to discuss amongst yourselves with any scene, you are welcome to it. Okay, I think that's
All
is
right.
that it for
Yep.
the
That's
vlog?
it.
Yep.
Vlog,
I think
that's
so,
it.
yeah.